Hello, my mathematicians. This is Miss Foster with a special look at measuring volume using the metric system. Volume is a word that used to describe the amount of stuff or the amount of space that stuff takes when we measure it. Now, my use of volume is often associated with sound. When you're watching TV or working with a screen, your iPad or your Chromebook, you sometimes turn the volume up and down. And when you turn it up, it feels like the sound is filling the space more intensely. So we use volume to help us measure sound, but we also use it to measure how much space stuff takes up. The other place I really use volume a lot is in the kitchen. So today we are going to talk about how the metric system measures volume. The metric system has one main measurement, and it's 1 liter. We will get to those in a moment, but we're going to start by looking at what's called a milliliter. And a millimeter is just tiny. There are many countries that talk about liters and milliliters in their food and their baking and their measurement, but they often talk about hundreds of millimeters at a time. There are 1,000 millimeters in 1 liter, so they're really tiny measurements. Now in this spoon over here, you can see 1 milliliter of milk. It's about 20 drops. It's not very much. But another way to think of it is how much liquid would fill up one of our teeny tiny single 1 cubes. Think back at school, all those little single ones. Each one of those is a cubic centimeter, and that means it's 1 centimeter across, 1 centimeter up and down, and 1 centimeter in depth. And there's a picture of it, a couple pictures of them down here. Sometimes, especially in the medical field, they will refer to milliliters as cubic centimeters, or they like to abbreviate that with cc. So these are very small measurements. It takes 1,000 of those teeny tiny cubic centimeters, cc's, or milliliters to make 1 liter. And we don't spend a lot of time in the United States talking about liters. The only regular measurement that we have that you'll see in the grocery stores are soda bottles. A 2-liter soda bottle is the biggest size that most places sell, and you've probably seen them like this. So that's the one place where you get metric measurements in volume in the United States. Now, if you think about our place value manipulatives like this picture is showing you here, we have the little cubic centimeter here, the cc, or the 1 milliliter. And then if we skip over to our single thousand cube, imagine them, we have so many of them at school. 1 single thousand cube is 1 liter. We even have one at school that I can fill up to show you, I think, so maybe we'll do that when we're back together. So if there's 1 liter inside of a single thousand cube, then 2 of those fit inside that big soda bottle. Now we also sometimes can see other things measured in liters. This is a milk carton, probably from Europe, and it contains 1 liter of milk. Another thing that we sometimes do is we compare metric measurements to US standard measurements. So here's a picture of me with my big measuring cup, and just to have this in the back of your mind, 1 liter is about 4 cups. So this is my big 4-cup glass measuring cup, and the red dotted line here shows you about where 1 liter is. Now, you're going to use liters and milliliters a lot in your science class and in your math class going forward. And if Miss Foster's dream of everybody moving to metric comes true, maybe you'll even use them for cooking. But the next challenge then is, how do we play with this? Because to really understand volume and measurement, you got to play with it. So here's a game you can play. I'm calling it Roll for Volume. You have to pick 2 measurements. I am choosing milliliters right here and liters. So milliliters is what I'm going to roll for. Liters are what I'm going to compare them to. Then you've got and we have a table and chart for you, but we know that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. And here's a way to write it as a fraction. There's 1,000 milliliters out of 1,000 parts. So you'll need some dice, and I chose a bunch of them today. So we're going to roll the dice here. Whoops, let me click out of there. Here we go. Let's roll these dice. And there we have it. Now I can choose, the first game I'm going to play, I'm just going to use 3 of these dice. So I am going to say that if I have 366 milliliters, how many liters would that be? I'm going to have to put it as a fraction. It would be 366 thousandths of a liter. So I'm going to have to use my fractions to help me with that. So that's a way we could do it if we're measuring milliliters. Let me try that again now. What if I wanted to roll for liters? Let's try that. I'm just going to use one of these dice right now, and I'm going to say 4 liters. I'm going to take that very first 4 right there. If I have 4 liters, how many millimeters is that? Well, there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So 4 of them, I can use my multiplication here, is 4,000 milliliters. And I don't even know if I left myself enough space to write there. Oh no! So your challenge today is to play several rounds of this. I think the easiest way is to roll for liters first. If you decide to roll for milliliters, you might want to have more than 1 die available, and you're definitely going to be using fractions. Because if I have, like we did last time, 366 milliliters, I'm going to have to write a fraction to show how much of a liter I have. So we can combine multiplication and fractions and measurement and volume. Oh my goodness, so much fun. Hey guys, thanks for playing Measuring Metric Volume with me. Bye bye for now.